last week in the whole sprint series, we were in the corn belt of Iowa Speedway, and what a bottom burner that was. And Sammy Camara got win number 2 on the season. Here today, we are road course racing for the final time for the 2025 Sprint Series season, and we only have 4 races to go, and it is all up in the air for this championship battle, with Alex Lemos starting deep in the field and his competitors starting up towards the front. It is race 28 on the season. It is Sprint Series night in America at Watkins Glen International. Hello everyone, it is Nathan here, and welcome to Watkins Glen, and welcome to race 28 on the season for the Herr Sprint Series. Only 4 races to go. Kind of crazy that it's gotten to this point already. It feels like I just started the season in January or February, and now it is in August, and we are getting towards the end of it. We still have a championship battle on our hands, and especially the way that we start today with April, Louise, Black Miller, and even Carson Miller starting up towards the front, and Alexander Moe starting deep in the field. We got Alex up here in the booth for this one at Watkins Glen, and for only, I believe, the second time this season. Welcome back to Sprint Series Night in America.
Yeah, it's great to be back for the Herr Sprint Series, part of the Lake Effect Ice Cream Super Weekend, as you see right there on the bridge. One of many races here this weekend, all leading up to the Lake Effect Ice Cream 400K this Saturday in the Wall Wall Cup Series. But hey, as you mentioned, Nathan, we got a very tight battle in this championship, and I say that because Alexander Rose starts deeper in the field than he would like, and Aaron Abel starts a little bit further up. Only 23 points separate the two of them with 4 races left to go, including this one here today. So we'll have to see how it all ends up shaking out. This is a wild road course. We saved the best one for last year for the Sprint Series drivers, and it's going to be a lot of fun around this 3.4-mile road course throughout the entire week. Of course, we had a great race in the Indy Lights Series yesterday, I'm sure of it. And we got 2 IndyCar races and then the Cup race as well on top of this one. A lot of great racing here from Watkins Glen.
Absolutely, and I say this all the time, Watkins Glen is my favorite road course of them all on and probably in real life as well. And it's been one heck of a season, like you said, and especially with how things started. Aaron Abel starts 5th, and Alexander starts 18th, and the way that is, that's about a 13-point difference, and if things stand of where they start, it would be a 10-point advantage going into Daytona next week, or Richmond next week, I should say, and we gotta wait and see if what ends up happening. But we got some drivers that are not in championship contention up towards the front, like the number 39 of Sima Oskin and the 05 of Charles Bowen. For these two, knowing that, hey, we just want to win, and they realize that the 9 other drivers going for this championship, what are they going to do here for this 10-lap sprint here today?
They're just going to go all out and try to get the race victory. I mean, the point of the Sprint Series and the Lenovo Pro Series is for anyone to just sign up at any time and go for a race win. No championship required to participate in this series, and those drivers are going to be going all out for it here because they got nothing to lose. And we'll see how aggressive these guys are. Of course, the exit at turn 11, that is the trouble spot for a lot of these drivers here at Watkins Glen, and we'll see that come into fruition throughout this entire weekend. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you run a clean race and not get any damage to your race car, because if you do, it's going to hold you up, and we're going to have to see who is clean and who is not once we move through this event here today.
Absolutely, and we got that pit stop around lap 5, lap 6, and one key thing that we could see is if you snap the wall one too many times off of turn 11, they might have the pit crew try and fix the damage, and that's going to cost you a lot of track position. We're going to go ahead and get these drivers rolling off here, since this is a really long pace lap, and it would be the points all as follows. Alexander has a 23-point lead over Aaron Abel. BP Ruiz minus 31, Matt Blatt minus 34, Sammy Camara minus 38, Carson Miller minus 40, J.R. Wilburton minus 47, Chase McClure minus 50, and Howard Anderson Jr. minus 56. Those 9 drivers in particular all have a chance at the championship if things get crazy in these last 4 races. And then 10 from points is Andrew Williams, 94 points back. On the pole, in the number 39 is Matt Oskin, and alongside him is 05 of Charles Bowen, the number 88 of Jacob Vieira, and the 82 of Juan Rodriguez, the number 13 of Dylan Stanley, and the 37 of Aaron Abel, the number 64 of Garrett Sandoska, and the number 1 of Sammy Camaro, last week's winner, trying to get rid of number 3, Matt Black in the 69, and Chase McClure in the 50, B.B. Ruiz in the 57, and the number 4 of Andrew Williams, Carlos Miller in the 96, Nathan Ajboye in the 97, and then the number 3 of J.R. Wilburton and the 98 of Emily York Watson. And then there is our point leader, Alexander, all the way back in 18th, and the number 90 this week, and the 02 of Howard Anderson Jr. The 56, that is Sarah Taylor, and the 52 of Angel O'Fara. And then rounding out the final 4, the number 87 of David Dixon, the 81 of Gordon Smith, and then the number 93 of Bradley Ream for start, and then Murray Papiani in the number 99. Only a couple turns left to go out, but who's the pit to win here at Watkins Glen?
I'm going to go with the driver of the number 82, Juan Rodriguez, to win this race, and that's one of Trey Smith's drivers. And this is a racetrack where that outside lane is where you want to start, and I think there's going to be a good advantage from that position.
I like it, and I think Juan Rodriguez has been pretty solid ever since he's made some starts here as of late. Here we go. We are green flag racing at Watkins Glen. 4 races to go in the Herr Sprint Series. A clean first quarter of the lap, side by side for the second place spot between the 82 of Rodriguez and the 39 of Samit Oskin. And we've seen it before at Watkins Glen that Pulsar really is not at a advantage here at this racetrack, but Oskin is going to take the second place spot. Or is he? Rodriguez with a dive bomb entering the boot on lap number 1.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Charles Bowen wants to see, because these guys going side by side allows them to pull away just a little bit. Got that 13 machine there as well, Dylan Standeven, and he also got the 88 of Jacob Vieira. A couple of guys who I don't know if I've actually called a race with them in it yet. Well, welcome to the channel, and they've been running in the Sprint Series quite a bit this season. We'll end up seeing how this ends up shaking out as the race goes on, but that 05 is going to gain an advantage if these drivers battling for second remain side by side.
Fantastic racing. Love this Watkins Glen International version, and they are still side by side for the race lead. Oskin, though, might be able to take it back officially. Goes wide into turn 10. Gonna try and send it into turn number 11, and turn 11 is, of course, the 12th spot. And speaking of which, Camara, but not Camara Rodriguez, and a couple of other drivers smacked the wall off of turn number 11, and that's going to affect him on that pit stop on lap 5 to lap 6, and just like that, Alex, almost a 2-second lead for Charles Bowen.
You get side by side like that on a track like this, and he is pulled right away from the rest of the field, and trying to think of a race where that actually happened. I think it was Road America in the Wawa Cup Series a couple weeks ago when Duncan Ward got that race victory. They just kept on battling behind him, and he just pulled right away. There was no chance for anyone to get to him, and that's very much something that can happen here in this race if these drivers are not careful. And number 39 machine, though, Sam Adoskin, a longtime veteran of the channel. You know he's got an opportunity of getting it done. As you got a pass right here, number 1 there, Sammy Kamara, last week's winner, to the inside of the 13 machine of Dylan Standeven. Not a good run for Standeven so far. He's Lost a spot to the 88, now about to lose another spot to the 1 machine.
Absolutely, and he's got to try and manage a little bit here on the short one. It's really a short one, and these guys are going to be splitting in half, and got to see of what they ate and still even can do. And able lost a couple of spots, but still ahead of Alexander Rowe, and Alexander Rowe in the number 90 is, once again, he's done this all season. He doesn't qualify well based off of the previous week, but he runs up front and gains a lot of speed. And it's kind of like Isla. He didn't really run up front, but he finished well enough to minimize the point loss against his competitors, and he's doing it once again here at Watkins Glen. Still a big lead for Charles Bowens, and into the outside wall now for the 39 of Cement Oskin.
Yeah, just like I said, that turn 11, always a trouble spot. We may see an actual wreck at some point throughout the race if these guys aren't careful. 3.3 second lead right now for that 05 machine. I'm sure Travis is loving that. But still, you got to get through the pit stop and not have any damage on the said pit stop. Out of this 88 machine, though, looking very quick. Jacob Vera, I believe, going for his first ever win on the channel here today. And that 88 machine all over the back bumper now with the 39 machine trying to get second place. It's a great battle for second, but the 05 is out of here on lap number 3.
Absolutely out of here. Everyone else, though, from second on back, all together in a twain, and that's Watkins Glen, a very fast road course, and everyone else is still in contention. A dive bomb from Charles Bowen, really sending it into Camila and Juan Rodriguez. Fantastic stuff from second on back, like you said, and it's going to be interesting on how that pit stop is going to play out around halfway, especially if we have a clean car or not. That could open up the strategy a little bit. Well, it might not, because, well, you have a little bit more damage. And there's some Tyler here, so just gotta wait and see how that all plays out. Doesn't look like Camilo's gonna get rid number 3 on the season here today. That sounds a little bit close between the 82 and the 13. But how about that 05? Absolutely a rocket here early on after 3 laps. Might see a battle for second, though, later on between Fiera and Oskin.
The 88 machine might have an advantage going in the turn 11 right here.
Oh.
Not going to quite get it at this point, and there might be an issue on the 39 machine.
Either he hit the wall, no issue. He might
maybe not.
Maybe he just hit the wall so that they were like, hey, just pit now. But that's going to be close if he can make it 6 laps. Ugh. Tough break for Cement Oskin there in the number 39.
That'd be 7 laps, actually.
Yeah, that'd be 7. That would be pushing it. So he might not even make it on field at that point.
Well, we're only 4 laps into we're not even 4 laps into this race, and it's almost a 5-second lead for Charles Bowen right now. I have not seen someone do this at Watkins Glen in a while. Usually these guys stay pretty close to each other, and keep in mind, this is a rating series, so there's no difference in the ratings. Just imagine, what it could be on Sunday or on Saturday with the Wall Cup Series and just who we've got at the top and everybody else. But, I think, there's a long ways left to go in this race, and I think we could see some very interesting things, and especially in terms of the championship, because you got Aaron Abel and Alexander Rowe only 6 spots away from each other. That's good news for Alexander Rowe, who is trying to keep that driver of the 37, at least today, Aaron Abel, behind him in the championship standings. A big wild card coming up, of course, is Daytona, but that is a place that Aaron Abel has won before in the past. And we got Richmond after this race, Daytona, and then Darlington is the finale. So Alex Monroe trying to get that Sprint Series championship, trying to get that full-time reserve for the Wall Cup Series next season. He's a driver that if he ends up in the Wall Cup Series next season could be a championship favorite. Especially if he ends up on the correct team or on a good team next season. So we'll just have to see how that ends up shaking out. But right now he's holding on to a decent run here. We've got a great battle here between Sammy Kamara and the 50 machine of Chase McClure. And we got the 87 and the 37, 82 and the 37 coming down the pit lane right here.
This is the Herr strat, pitting sooner than everyone else. So I think this is a planned pit stop. One, since his teammates and we are basically almost halfway. I think the 39 might have just smacked the wall way too hard, and they just wanted to check out the car and make sure nothing was wrong with it. But something happened with the 02, when the 05 I should say, and lost half of the lead. Just that last lap. It was 4 plus seconds. Now it's down to 2.7. So I don't know. It might not be over for Via to chase down Bowen. Bowen might have used up himself really early on with that 4 plus second lead. We gotta wait and see what ends up happening. But you know what they always say? You can't spell greatness without GLT. And well, the GLT colors trying to chase down the 05. And oh yeah, I think that 05 point up his stuff. Because look at the gap now. Still closing in right before the halfway pit stops.
Has the GRT car won a race yet this year? The 88 specifically?
The 88's had a lot of bad luck, I know that much.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think it has won. I haven't kept up as much as I should this season, but you know, I know Stu would love to see that car go to victory. And this is actually Ledovic's car. This is Intersys Motor Racing, which in theory is kind of taking over Grad Autosport next year in the Wall Cup Series. So that's kind of fascinating right there. But yeah, something happened to that 05, and I think, you know, to your point, Anthony may have just used up his stuff. He might have gotten in the outside wall just a little bit. And here we go, cycle beginning here as we're going to cross the halfway point in this Watkins Glen Grand Prix.
Oh, that's not
gonna work. Oh no, Sammy Kamara.
Well,
and just try to commit way too late, and the one machine's done. And I think the 50 was that the 50 machine that was right behind it. Yeah,
Chase McClure.
Chase McClure also with damage. That could have been bad for Alex in a row, but Alex in a row ended up gaining some time from that, and he's still good in the 90 machine.
And this is going to be important. 2 tires for the 05 and 88. And 4 tires. So it's going to be a 4-tire stop. And that's one thing that we've seen at Watkins Glen before. Is that they try going too wide on a narrow pivot entry. And it does not work out. So tough wait for Commander last week's winner and Chase McClure. 2 championship contending drivers still at this point in the season. And right now, a lot of drivers stay out another lap, and that's kind of shocking. I thought it was going to be 5 to lap 6. And they're going to stretch an extra lap here with the majority of the field. And we got to see how this all plays out. Abel did the undercut. Alexander pit right in the middle. And Matt Black, who's 4th in point standings, is kind of doing the overcut here.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this ends up shaking out for these drivers. Of course, Matt Black, a driver, still in championship contention here. Only 34 points behind. Of course, you know, the maximum amount of points you can get in the series is 27. Am I right about that? 27 or is it 28?
I think it's
28.
Yeah.
So that is the maximum gap if, you know, a driver doesn't end up in a race. You know, these guys, BB Ruiz, Matt Black, they're over a race win worth of points out of the point lead. So, you know, with only 3 races left to go after today, you know, you definitely want to try to gain all you can on Alex in a row and able to have a shot in these last 3 races.
Absolutely, and honestly, if about a race out before Daytona, you could still have a shot at the championship, depending on what the heck happens at Daytona, honestly. But busy pit road. The majority of the field playing on lap 6 coming to lap 7. And gonna quickly see where is our race leader. There's Charles Bowen, so he's gonna pull out and be ahead most likely of these guys. Everyone's gonna have older, all these guys are gonna have fresher tires, but I don't know how much of a factor it will be. A slow stop for the 64 right there, and the 05 is gonna leave off pit road. Second will be Vieira, and for now, 3rd place will be the 39, but obviously going to be maybe not be able to make it. But how about Aaron Abel? He's going to jump up to 3rd with that undercut.
They're actually up to 4th right now in the 37 machine, but that's a good run for him right there. And we'll have to see if he can gain a decent amount of points in Alex in a row. I'm intrigued to see where Alex in a row is. Not too bad. Going to lose a couple of spots there to Aaron Abel. And, you know, championship's going to be in the teens the way they currently run going in the Richmond. So Alex in a row is not safe yet from the driver of number 37 of Aaron Abel here today. Got a good battle right here between the 64 machine, Garrett Zanoska, and the 56 machine of Sarah Taylor. Those guys are going to figure it out. Looks like the 64 is going to get the advantage for now. But Charles Bowen still much out ahead in that 05 machine. But this race is far from over, and I'd watch out for that 88 machine of Jacob Vieira. Was closing in on this 05 before the cycle began. Lost a little bit of time off the cycle, but coming to 3 laps to go, he still has a good opportunity of possibly closing in and having a shot at this race victory.
Absolutely, and especially if he has the speed that he showed before pit stops, that could be very interesting for that 88 machine. Of course, Cement Oskin is technically in the 3rd place spot, but may or may not be able to make it all the way on fuel. And then 4th is the number 37 of Aaron Abel, and the 39 is going to hit the wall, same with the 37.
Oh,
a
boy.
couple of big wall smats for those two. That's going to slow both of them down, and I think now that's going to turn this into a 1v1 pure battle between Bones and Vieira.
Yeah, Jacob Vieira's going to have a shot here at closing in. There's only 2 seconds now, and I think that 88 is faster. Just does he have enough time to get to Charles Bowen in this race? Bowen's done an excellent job. He's led every lap in this race. I don't think anyone else has led a lap so far here in this one. At one point had a near 5-second lead on the field. Oskin and Abel, they've got a decent gap. Of course, we don't know if Oskin can make it to the end since his first pit stop was quite early on in this run. You got a battle right here, number 97, Nathan Ajaboye to the inside of Andrew Williams in the 4 machine. You know, you do a good job, Nathan, keeping track of who's in what car, and I'm surprised I did it the first couple of years I did this series because I can't keep it together anymore.
I will say, credit to where credit's due. Aaron Abel is in 4th, and the number 90 is in 11th right now. So that would be
They both moved up.
a big time swing in the point standings there between Abel and Alexander Woe. And the funny thing,
16.
yeah, that's a lot. And Abel keeps on doing this. He keeps on chipping in a couple of points every race, and if he keeps on doing that, he could have a shot by the time we get back to Darlington.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a driver capable of getting to Alexander Rowe in this championship. And it's funny, too. They're the 2 guys going for it. Oh, boy. They're the 2 guys going for it in the E-Series as well. As you got the 39 coming in. So, they'll end up going after it again once we get to the E-Series championship a couple months from now at Toledo. Because I feel that those 2 drivers are going to be going after it. And Aaron Abel actually drives for you over in the E-Series there, so I know you're rooting for Abel in that one. But they're battling right now, and they're 2 drivers who have been around a long time, especially Alexander Rowe. Alexander Rowe won the Daytona 500 over 5 years ago. And, he's been trying to get back in the World Cup Series, and, this is his opportunity. He's also got the E-Series if this falls through to get that reserve full-time for. And each point's going to matter in that title fight. And Aaron Abel right now gaining 7 points on Alexander Rowe, but Alexander Rowe has an opportunity to pass some cars here and make it a little bit closer going into Richmond next week.
Absolutely. Abel is going to be in 3rd, and of course the 90 is going to be technically in the 10th spot as the 39 did unfortunately have to pit. So that is a 7-point swing going into Richmond. Maybe there's some cracks in the armor of Alexander Rowe during the summer months, because he's done this a couple times, but he just does not show the pace that he did at one point in the season. And this has been Abel's model. He has more top 10s by 1 extra top 10 over Alexander Rowe, but Alexander Rowe has 1 extra top 5. However, 5 of those top 5s are wins. So I think Abel's been more consistent, but we got 1 lap to go this time by for Charles Bowen in the 05 for Twilight Racing. Can he make it? Because he's made a couple of mistakes, and he's going to make another mistake. I thought he was going to get into outside wall. 88 is not going to hit the wall. Same with Abel. He is good. White flag. 13 with a huge smack into the wall. That's going to give a spot to Matt Black, and that's also something that we cannot count out on. Because BP released is way back there in the 57. So Matt Black will probably be 3rd in points now leaving here today.
Yeah, this is Looking pretty good for Charles Bowen, looking to get his second win of the season. Where was his first win again? Was it Road America that he won?
My World America is done this
Yeah, so that
summer.
would, yeah, so that's two
So,
road course races for him if that actually is the case. Regardless of the fact, got that fast lap last week, and when you get the fast lap going into a road course, that is a big deal. And he's got the fastest lap again then going into Richmond. So if he signs up, he'll get the pole again next week. I don't know how many people realize that's how we set the starting lineup for this series: is the fastest lap, and then everyone else who wasn't in the past race would just go by the order in which they signed up. But Charles Bowen looking very strong right now, and this is a driver, going into Lenovo Pro Series, especially. I expect him to sign up for that. Going into next year, might have a shot at a National Series ride, possibly. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. But regardless of the fact, it looks like it's going to be a race victory for Charles Bowen and Travis Crampton's team of Triad Racing.
absolutely. Every team has won at least once, but it's been a long time since Trial Racing has won in the Sprint Series. I believe they only have one win to their name. Well, congratulations, Travis, Trial Racing, and Charles Bowens, win number 2 on the season for Trial Racing, and win number 2, as he's not going to get into law off the 2011. Charles Bowens will win the Watkins Glen Grand Prix in dominating fashion. But a fun race here at World America, and he started second here today, and he's going to start on pole next week at Richmond if he signs up. And the good thing for Abel, he will start at the most ninth, and Alexander Lowe will start 19th again. So that would be another poor qualifying start for Alexander Lowe. Oh
He's kind of just
boy.
been mired in the back of all these races, and it's kind of struggled because of that. Daytona is the wild card that could fix that for him, but you got to get past Richmond first, which is not an easy track to maneuver from the back from. So looks like
11th.
we're looking at
3rd to 11th.
8. So that's 15 points going into next week between Alexander Rowe and Aaron Abel. It's fascinating, how close it always ends up being between those two guys in two different series as well. One has ratings, the other doesn't, which makes it even more fascinating. But how about Charles Bowen? Great run for him with a second career win on the channel here, and I know Travis Crampton's going to be happy with that one. Finally getting another win as an owner. He doesn't have the most success as an owner in the Sprint Series. Has more success over in the Truck Series, which I know you're driving for him here in a couple of weeks with the Truck Series. Looking forward to that, but great run there for Charles Bowen and the '05 machine.
Absolutely, and I have to agree. If he ends up signing up a ton, and Pro Series is basically the reset for these YouTube weekly signups. Bone Cobb showed up in the middle part of the year, so he didn't have a chance at getting a good points finish. But if he signs up a ton in the Pro Series, he could be a driver to watch in said Pro Series. But he gets a second one on the season here today in a crazy race. Pit road shenanigans on top of everything else. Sammy Commander, that might take them out of the running for the championship officially. I don't think you can really make up as much ground as that driver is going to lose after today. Great one from Vieira, though, in second in just a handful of starts this year. Abel in third, Matt Blatt in fourth. Those two are still kind of a really good chance at this championship. And same with Cosmo. We didn't really talk about him much, but he has been on a roll in the last 5 weeks, really. At one point, I think before today, he had 2 or 3 second place finishes in a row. So he's still got a chance at this championship. Seeing even Cosmo, Anna Williams in 7th. And then Aljaboye, Zendoska, and Juan Rodriguez all the way in 10th. Roll in 11th. The bad thing for BP, he didn't really finish too bad, but he finished 1 spot behind Alexander, so he's going to lose 1 point on him. Angel Rivera in 13th, Emily York Watson, Bradley Ream, Jay Wimbledon, Gordon Smith, Sarah Taylor, Hallie Anson Jr. The rough stretch continues for Hallie Anson. Was the championship contention? Not really anymore. David Dixon, Murray Papiani, Chase McClure, Cement Austin, and Stanley Command, all with tough days, and we didn't really mention them. Really tough before Cement Austin got into the wall, and I think he just had too much damage, and he was not able to make it. But science for Richmond will be coming up here shortly. But what's the final thoughts here at Watkins Glen?
Oh, we'll have to see if we see something like that on Saturday in the Wall Cup Series. We'll see if someone dominates. And the second half of the chase starting here in a couple of days for the Wall Cup Series, guys. Not much time left. I mean, we're less than a month away from crowning a champion, and we will do so on August 31st at the Darlington Raceway, and we'll be doing the same in the Sprint Series here in a couple of weeks as well. And we'll see, will it be Alex in a row, or will it be Aaron Abel, or maybe somebody else? Matt Black still has an opportunity if things go crazy these next 3 races. It's possible. We'll just have to see how it all goes down. But great run by Charles Bowen. Great race here at Watkins Glen, and I think the races are only going to get better from here. We got IndyCar coming up both Thursday and Friday, and then the Lake Effect Ice Cream 400K in the Wall Cup Series on Saturday.
Absolutely. Love this weekend. You have love with this week, I should say, at Watkins Glen. And that was a fun one here, and we gotta wait and see what ends up happening. I think there's 5 drivers that have a really good shot at this championship now after today. And we only have 3 races to go. Richmond, the big wild card of Daytona, and then Darlington. Thanks for Alice for joining me up here in the booth for this one. And sign-ups for Richmond are happening right now. And until then, we'll see you guys next week for Spencer's Dynamite in America from Richmond Raceway.